a voice phone recording or something.
Who be this King Solomon we just they go up and down? I beg.
Fine.
That's
Why
one
did
of
you
the
give up
BBB seller. Go to check how many quantities still there.
Favor George.
Who will record this meeting for us? I need to be
Who
sure
be
that we are giving
who
the
they call
approval
my
first.
name? Easy. Easy can record this meeting. Record
So
it.
Favor George, you are a guy actually. God don't
Ah,
come.
how many times I go talk this thing? Make una leave me. Now I be
George,
guy.
George, George, George,
Everybody just say I have a
George.
Not just
yeah.
guy. Guy.
Make we open scope for this thing. Everybody say be here. Make we open scope for this thing now.
All
See we
right.
quick cash out
Abi.
small, I beg.
Abi.
Okay, guys, can we start? I don't love to waste people's time because we are all busy, and
George.
some of us might want to, go to the other room and do other important
Ah.
Nobody gets scope for the other
Ah,
room.
I beg. We no get deal for the other room now. I dey park now. I dey
things.
park. I dey
Baran,
find motor where they go my village.
Baran,
Hey
Baran,
God.
Baran gets the other room. He's on vacation, so just in case it's getting cold. Right? Okay, so today we are going to.
My
Yeah.
vacation, not the test like vacation again. No.
We're in the meeting still. I don't want to miss anything going on.
Okay,
Abeg,
please, can we
Ezekiel.
just allow our
Good evening,
host to
everyone.
lead the? Can we just allow our host
Evening,
to lead,
Onyema.
please? Everybody should mute their. So our
Joy
host
no
will
day,
lead,
joy
please.
no day.
Okay, guys, it's time to mute your phones. I can't mute you from here, I think. I'm not sure. Okay. Or just mute. Good evening, everyone, once again. I really appreciate that you are here. I appreciate that you're here. Thank you very much for coming. I understand the situation everyone is going through. We are all suffering this deep together, right? And this is the journey. This is how crypto is. It's more like saying welcome to crypto to see the ups and downs.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Please, are you recording it?
I am, but I
Sorry.
think someone else will have to, just in case I have an issue with saving my recording. Someone should do a voice recording on their phone. Who is doing this, please? Let me know. Trevor George.
Does it allow screen record or only voice record?
You said? Yeah.
Does it allow screen record or
Screen
only voice
record,
record?
screen voice recording. Anyone. Screen voice. Screen. Actually, because I'm going to be sharing.
Let me see what I can do about it.
Who is recording?
Let me try it.
Okay. Easy. Thank you. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about some important things, and actually, my focus is actually where we are supposed to be positioning ourselves in the next BS season. I know this looks far enough, but of course we have to make enough plans to see how we will benefit way more than we've done in this bull run. Of course, not everyone has even benefited from this bull run, depending on where and when you came into crypto. And we are expecting a lot more to happen. Like I said, I do not think for any reason that this is the market top. Lots of indication does not show me that this is the market top. And it's not just me. Everybody who is trading, who is looking at on-chain metrics, who is looking at market top historical indications. If you're looking at these things, you would understand that this is not supposed to be a market top for any reason. I think this is all just a coordinated fraud. We saw this in 2017 with China ban and so many things happening in 2017 at some points that gave 40% drops, I think around June or so. So we saw these drops several times. But one thing to note is that we have never seen a 50% drop in a bull run. All right. And at this point, we've had about 54% drop just today from the top, right? From the very top. But also something else to note is this. Bitcoin is still very young and it does not have so much history. So we'll assume Bitcoin is still creating its own history. All right. So just like people have been saying we have 30 to 40% drops, maybe in the next bull run, we'll start saying we have 30 to 50% drops. All right. This is not me trying to get on hopium or something or trying to believe that the BS season has not come. I'm not saying that the BS season has not come. Neither am I saying it has come. Right? But we have to be objective in our analysis as well. That is why when I released the first newsletter about how to take profits, I said we take profits on the way up, we take profits on the way down, and we leave some bags. And these are the things we are suffering today. Those bags we are leaving, those things we are leaving, is still what we are suffering from. It's not if you've been in crypto for like 5 months or so, 5 months, at least you should have made some substantial profit that, okay, you'd say this is my profit going down, depending on what you're doing. But nevertheless, everybody is losing money, whether we like it or not. And no one is happy about this, right? So another thing we should know is this. No matter how bad, I'm going to share my screen. No matter how bad the market gets, no matter how much we have a dump, share my tab. Okay. I'm sure we can see my screen right now. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So no matter how bad the market dumps, one thing is certain: we must have bounces. All right. So that is why I actually told you people not to be afraid. There is no point selling Bitcoin at 30K when we know it will bounce from 30K. Even if the bear season has started today, I guarantee you that Bitcoin will bounce from 30K. And we already saw that in a couple of hours with just Elon Musk tweeting that Tesla has diamond hands. So this is what Elon Musk's influence can cause. So you see that we have dumped beyond this channel that I drew here. Look at this channel line here. I thought we were initially going to bounce from there. The dump is actually unusual, to be honest. I didn't expect this kind of dump. Nobody actually did, because we've been conservative about the retracement lines. Okay, we said 30%, 20%, then 40%. We thought, okay, this is the maximum. Then we are getting a 50% drop from Bitcoin, which is actually insane. We've not seen this ever in a bull run. And we can see that this line I have here, the 30K line, held quite well. This for me was where I would say if we lose this line, just look at this head and shoulders on this side. Look at this head and shoulders on this side. Look at this mountain here. It's just this support. So if we lose this line, I don't know where it wants to get to. Is it 20K we are going back to? I'm not saying this is impossible, but this is only possible if we flip completely to the bear season. Now, initially when I dropped this chart, we saw the head and shoulders here sloping downward, which was expected to stop either here or here or here, which is 30K bottom. And we've had a complete, like an extreme complete head and shoulder. Look at it. This is it. This is the bottom of his head and shoulder. So if we are supposed to be bouncing, I believe we are supposed to be bouncing from this level. So maybe, in my opinion, I think maybe these institutional investors have come together to coordinate this dump just so they can get Bitcoin cheaper eventually. Because it's not easy to get Bitcoin cheap when it's moving in a bull run. You can see some of them buying at 50K, for something K, some 60K. And then they know that they only have to dump this for us to get, for them to be able to buy cheap, which is what I believe is going on. But if eventually it is that the Bitcoin bull run or the crypto bull run is ending, just know that we're going to have relief bounces here and there, because we are watching the moving average. Remember that mostly what we've been trading with lately is just the moving average. We don't use so many other indicators, because in a trending market, the most important indicator is basically the moving average. So you're either using the moving average as support and resistance. Is anybody not in this meeting? Okay, so many are not actually. Okay, so we are basically using the moving average as support and resistance. So if we had been using the moving average lines as support, remember that we will still be using them as resistance. So at some point, we will have Bitcoin moving back to the moving average lines, whether the 20 MA, 50 MA, 100 MA, and 200 MA. You can see I always have my MA lines on this chart. I believe you can see this red, orange, blue, sky blue, and blue line. These are my 20, 50, 100, and 200 MA lines, always on my chart. I can adjust it based on the need I see on the chart. Now, you can see the lines are actually here, and they are far away from the current price that you can see on Bitcoin. We had a very severe dump. That's why you can, let me see if I can zoom out this chart a bit so you can see what I'm saying. Right. So you can see the red line here around, is that 42,800 or thereabout? And I have plotted a Fibonacci level on this chart because when we have a downtrend, of course, you have to plot the Fibonacci from top to bottom this time, not from bottom to top, right? So from top to bottom, we have the Fibonacci, and we are looking at the lines where Bitcoin can possibly get back to if eventually this is a bear season, all right, that we are getting into. Because we've been forming lower highs. Is that lower highs? Yeah. You can see the first one here. We used to have higher lows on the previous chart. Here, you can see here. And if we keep going back in this chart, we see that the the higher lows that we're forming. And now we flipped right here. Look at it, right here. From this one to this one to this one to this one to this one, and now we're here. So you can see that we've been forming lower is that higher low? I keep getting this confused. Okay, that's lower highs. Oh, sorry, lower lows actually. So this is a low and this is another low. It's a lower low. So these are indications of bearish markets, all right?
So,
Until this flips, until the lower lows flip, all right? But for now, we are going to trade what we see, or we are going to be observing and analyzing exactly what we see on the chart. So looking at this, we have my first fib line, which we have likely breached, all right? The price is, okay, we've not even breached it. The price has gone back to 38, guys. I think I saw it at 40K a few minutes ago, or a few minutes ago, yeah. And now we are here settling at this point, 236 fib level, right? Now the upper fib level we have here is the 0.382 fib level, which is around 43,300. So approximated to 43K, which is where we have this line, or 42K thereabout. The other support that we had that is now going to become resistance, because when a support is broken, it becomes resistance on the way up. So we are now having this first support where we have right now this first resistance, actually 38K, 38,200, where we are settling right now, and the upper one at around 42, 43K, and another one around 47, 48K. So we're going to have these resistances if Bitcoin is going to keep going back up. Even if it's going to keep going down, we're still going to follow a trend. It's going to go up and down like a slope. Nothing goes down straight. Well, we're going to have that recovery. Even if traders now think, okay, this is a bearish sentiment, they don't care about on-chain metrics or whatever again. Now, another thing you should put in, okay, before I get to that, we're also looking at this channel is important to me, this 43K line, because it's halfway this channel. You can see the top of this channel and the lower part of this channel, and the mid channel, right? The mid channel is here. I have my line here, which is just around the 43K level. This channel is very important to me. I believe this is where we will have the very first serious test, right? The very first serious test will come here. Anyone in the waiting room, I should get a notification. I'm getting some messages. Okay.
boss, the video recording is not responding now, so I wish maybe if you can try, someone else can try.
Is there any Favor George? Can you help us record this, please? Let me go back to the meeting and accept. Favor George, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, please.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Voice record and screen record this, please. Can you?
Oh, I'm with earpiece. I don't know if it works with earpiece, but let me remove my earpiece and do the recording.
I believe I'm actually recording, but I need someone else to, just in case you have people who are missing out on this meeting. If there is need to get out to the public. Right. Okay, back to my chart. Okay, so this mid channel is very important to me. I believe it's going to be, you can see my line, my red imaginary line here stopped at this. There's a resistance here. So I believe we should have some good resistance test around the 42, 43K level. This is why I wanted everyone to be this meeting before now. So these distractions. I have to stop sharing my screen to accept them. All right. Okay, so this is it. These are the levels that we are looking at. The Fibonacci levels. Okay, very important, and the moving average lines, because these moving average lines will eventually, if we have a ranging market for the next few days around this area, the moving average is going to drop lower. It's going to adjust. So we're going to pay an attention to both the moving average lines and the Fibonacci levels. So this is it for the Bitcoin chart right now. So if eventually you think you want to sell your Bitcoin, at least try to sell at the bounce, right? Not at 30K. You want to sell your Ethereum, at least try to sell at the bounce, not at 30K. But exactly, remember, like I said, I do not expect that this is the top of the market. I do not expect that this is the top of the market. So I'm going to flip to write another chart. Bitcoin dominance. I'm sure we can see my charts. Right?
No.
You can't see
No, we can't. We can't presently.
No.
We can't.
Let me. Okay, a moment. Okay, I'm sure we're good. Yep. We can see this, right? Yeah. Okay, so
Yes.
okay, so this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, if you look at this, historically, Bitcoin dominance has been going down and down and down. And I believe it's going to continue this way, okay? It's going to continue this way over a long period of time. Like, I like to think that forever, Bitcoin dominance chart is going to keep going down, right? Because a lot of altcoins are being created daily. In the last 2017 bull run, we had around 3,000 coins. Around 2018, we had around 3,000 coins listed on CoinMarketCap. But now we have over 9,000. So these altcoins are taking up the market share. So that is why I believe that is why you see Bitcoin dominance chart keep going down and down and down, right? Okay. So look at here. We had in 2016. Look at where it was. You can see the bottom of my screen. You can see the year here. So we had this run down, 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 down. All right, up to this bottom at the Bitcoin peak around December 2017, when Bitcoin peaked around 19K. We had it go as low as 36, where I have my line, and then it bounced right off here and used the moving average line. You can see this is simply the moving average plane here. All right, I have my EMA on this line, the 20, 50, 100, and 200 also plotted on this chart. You can see first used this 20 as support, went back down, used this one and breached it, used the 100, and then the 200. It used the 200 as the last resistance that it has here, and started going back down, tested it again, and look at where we are today. Remember I said that this was the bottom, this was the peak of the 2017 bull run. Now, what I'm thinking, all right, these are all debatable, but this is what I see on the charts. If you look at this, I would assume that we should break this support line, considering that we've been going down and down and down. So if this is supposed to be an uptrend, you know that we're supposed to be going like this, break resistance, consolidate a little, and go up. So if it is going down, I would expect that we have this kind of slopey movements, break it down, retest again this 36 support or so. But at least, even if in case we do not get to break this line, I like to think that we should at least hit this 36 levels on the Bitcoin dominance. And this will happen when we have a crazy alt season. Then we can now see the Bitcoin dominance charts even break below the support. Now, Bitcoin dominance charts going low does not mean that Bitcoin price will be going low. No. Because what it simply means is that altcoins are getting the share of the market. Because you could actually start seeing Bitcoin going up and altcoins going up at the same time. The Bitcoin dominance chart will still be where it is, or it will even be going lower, because a lot of money will now be moving into altcoins. If we have a crazy alt season that is coming soon, if we have that alt season, we will still have the Bitcoin dominance chart dropping low while Bitcoin price is going high. So this does not in any way indicate that Bitcoin price should go low. Just in case you're scared that, okay, maybe if it gets to 36 level, Bitcoin will keep dumping. If Bitcoin keeps dumping, every alt is going to keep suffering. Even if altcoins are holding their BTC pair value. The moment I think someone is waiting in here. This is the problem. We should all be in this meeting at the same time. Right. Sorry guys, I have to keep doing this because I don't want anybody to miss this. So like I said, I believe we should at least break or get to this 36 support, right, on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So if we are to have a mind-blowing autism, we should break further that support. Now, to the bull run and bear season of the next cycle, I want us to take a little look at the altcoin dominance chart. Okay. This is the entire crypto market. I believe you can see my screen. So this is the entire crypto market cap chart, right? What I'm looking at here is not a single coin. It's not Bitcoin. I'm not looking at any single altcoin. I'm looking at the entire market cap. And I want us to determine where we should start buying in the next bear season. There is no reason to fear at all, because the bigger Bitcoin becomes, the longer the years, the more time passes, the more history we have, and the more solid the asset class and the crypto asset class entirely becomes. That is why I keep saying that we are still very early. Now, we don't have so much history on this chart, even though we are losing money. What we are going to learn today in this meeting is something that we can pass down to our children who may not have this experience. Then they will learn these things through you and understand how the big money is made in all these financial markets. Now, you can see that we have dumped really well to levels that we did not imagine. So I'm going to move this to a weekly chart. Everything I'm going to be showing is supposed to be on a weekly chart. So I just move this to my weekly chart. So we see exactly this. Let me expand my chart. This is the entire crypto market cap. And now we could see in comparison to 2017. Let's go back down a little history. Now this is 2017. This is the top, right? This is the market top. We can see how high this went. Now note that I'm using a logarithm scale chart here. You can talk this on your screen. If I talk this, it's going to be too unrealistic. It's going to be very scary. So most times traders who want to see a long-term perspective switch to the log chart, right? It's logarithm chart. What logarithm chart does is it measures in percentage instead of just price difference. So $100 to $200 will give you equal distance on the chart. Unlike when you have $100 to $200, you now see something like this on an unusual chart. So I'm going to switch this back to log so we can see clearly what I'm saying here. Now look at this market up, how it looks, how it resembles something like this. I'm just trying to say this if eventually this is a market top. I'm not using any on-chain metrics from Glassnode or something like this, because we'll be looking at tens and tens of on-chain metrics that determines and shows that we are not at the top of the market. But I'm just saying that if eventually this is the top of the market, it means, I'm not trying to scare you, but it means that we've not seen anything yet. We are going to see lots and lots of dumps further, right? Look at my chart to show you exactly what I mean. This is December 2017, the top of the market. January 2018, when we started having the entire market cap start collapsing. But note that in January 2018, altcoins had their last leg up, all right? This was the struggle between bull and bears. Altcoin had their last leg up. But overall, you could see on this weekly candle, over a long-term perspective, that we started going down using the EMA as support as well. We first of all got to this support. You know that stage when people say, no, the bull run is not over. Let's pump it back again. This is what happens right here. Let me zoom this out a bit. We had the first test, right? And then we go back up. It couldn't move so much because this is a trend line. If I expand this chart and draw trend lines back on this chart, you see that it tallies just right there. So you could see that there was no energy to push it back up. Then we went as low as the 50 EMA on weekly. You know that the weekly chart is very powerful. And when you see a dump like this green candle you see here, this dump up to this orange level, this is so big a dump, right? But then we dumped here and bounced sharply because, of course, it was a dump, just like we're having today. We dumped and bounced sharply, right? So I'm just painting scenarios that look alike. So we go back above this line, dumped again, and this is the entirety of 2018 where we had a very terrible bear market where people thought, okay, when Bitcoin got down to 13K, we said, okay, this was the bottom, 13K. We didn't know what was happening. We did not know all of these technical analysis and tools and on-chain metrics. On-chain metrics was not even there for crypto. But now we have a lot of things that will help us understand where we should start buying. Just this chart, this altcoin market cap alone is enough. This total crypto market cap alone. I'm going to show you this in comparison with the altcoin market cap. Remember that this is just the total market cap, which is very important. And I'm going to show you the altcoin market cap because for me, it's important that we are buying altcoins, even though we'll be buying Bitcoin because it will come down, it will be low. But the money will continue to be made in altcoins, depending on the level of developments we see in the crypto industry. We saw a lot of them over the past 4 years. But of course, the industry has matured a lot more. And we have these companies and blockchain projects that are building real life solutions. So I don't think it's going anywhere. Altcoins are not going anywhere. So we're going to still be positioning in these altcoins. No matter how good the project is, no matter what they are building, I'm telling you that prices will tank. It's a guarantee that prices will tank because traders trade what they see. Because even if you tell me now that Michael Saylor is buying 100 billion worth of Bitcoin, you see that the price is not pumping. That is why I'm telling you that no matter what any project is building in a bear season, that is confirmed to be bear season, the price is going to tank. And what you're going to be looking at is the chart. So if you do not have this kind of knowledge, if you're trading solo or you don't have this kind of knowledge, you see that you would just be buying carelessly at any price point. You want to save your money. You want to use your money to do other businesses or the profits you've made in crypto in this season. You want to use it to do something else. That's totally fine. But make sure you come back here to build wealth over the next few years. That is not going to take long. If we understood this long-term mindset perspective, I know I personally would have been a lot better than where I am at this point. So these are the things that we look at in retrospect and say, okay, fine, we're not going to make this mistake in the coming years to come. In the coming years, so you can see that we use this as support, went back down, and look at this point here now. Now this is November, December 2018, when the market bottomed out. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that this is likely where the market is going to bottom out in the next bear season. This is the 200 EMA line, all right? You can see this blue line here is the 200 EMA line, which is the strongest case for a bull season. And on the weekly time frame, which is really huge, you can see that the price, the altcoin entire market cap went even below the 200 EMA line. So if you start buying at the 200 EMA line, it is not bad. Even if you start buying at the 100 EMA line, the sky blue line, it is not bad because of course, we are in a bear season, and what you're going to do here is to dollar cost average. You're buying lower, you know that you're buying at lower prices, but you keep buying, DCAing into your position up to the lowest level, which is a 200 EMA odd. Remember that this is not a single chart. I'm paying attention to the entire market cap. So even if you're looking at any single altcoin on trading view, you should be paying attention to these weekly candles. Okay, sorry, these weekly moving average lines, right? Be paying attention to this weekly moving average line, and also make sure you pay attention to the macro scale, to the altcoin market cap and the Bitcoin market cap. Let me share my screen on the altcoin market cap to show you exactly that these two things tally right here. So this is the screen of the altcoin market cap. They look just alike, right? I'm still using the log scale on this. They look just alike. This is 2017. You can see the date at the bottom of my screen here. 2017, early 2018. We saw the markets dump right here. The same thing. 200 EMA line. We got as low as this, right? We got as low as this. And we started bouncing from here. Now, what am I trying to say? I like to think that we should start buying in December 2022. If it's to say that the bull run ends in 2021 or maybe late 2021, if we eventually get back that leg up, I'm probably sure that the bull run is going to end towards the end of the year or maybe early next year. But definitely the bear season is going to come 2022 if history is to go by, even though we have just little history. So I'm assuming we should start buying around November, December, right, 2022. At that point, the prices may have gone so low that it won't go too low from there, right? So this is just like my blueprint. This is just like my template of what I intend to do if God keeps us all alive. This is what we intend to do. We buy November, December 2022, when the altcoin market cap must have crossed below or at least sitting on the 200 EMA on weekly, right? So now using the altcoin market cap, assuming that what we are buying is altcoins, right? Even if I go back to that entire crypto market cap, it's still the same thing, right? So let me just go back to that crypto market cap because it captures everything, basically. Now, if you go back to history again, now look at this. We had this pump from 2018, let's assume you bought around 2018. You had a massive pump. Someone is in again. Give me a second, please. Okay, so who else is trying to join? Okay. About it all, we should have way more than 21 people here. That's okay. Going back to the crypto market cap here. So this is it. Now you can see this chart's going right back up. In 2019, see what happened 1 year later. 1 year later, after the 2018 bears, and people are saying we're in a bear market, we're in a bear market. You did not know because you did not know what to do. If you bought here, would you say you're in a bear market? No, I guess not. Because the prices move right up here. So what I'm assuming we are going to do, looking at history, now let's even drag this back to the first bull run, right? Look at where this happened, just around 2014. We had this dump after the first move in 2013. So I'm just trying to show you what history has done. We went below this red line. We didn't have, the history was just too small. We had just the 20 EMA on weekly. So we went below this red line, moved right above it, consolidated, and dropped back to this line as support. It will always come back as support. And this is where people get weirded out and say, okay, this is not going, this is a bubble, Bitcoin is a bubble, and all these things. You can see it kept moving along the red line, the 20 EMA, move up, come back to the red line of support, move up, move up, move up, move up, till we got to 2017, where we had the bigger bull run, and people started learning more about Bitcoin, even though it was too entirely new. Nothing was there, no infrastructure, all these things you're seeing in Binance, all of them Coinbase, they all came up then and started taking the share and building infrastructure for the industry to sit on that we are getting today. Now a lot of people are in crypto, and a lot of people more are going to come. You read that in my newsletter, we don't even have a fraction of anybody in crypto, the world population, but we're going to have that very soon over the next few years, hopefully. But then I've shown you what 2014 did, what 2014, 2016 did. Now back to 2017, repeating that same history. In 2019, we got the market moving right above here, right? And topping just above, okay, we have something that we would likely call a blow-off top, right? Just to show you that this was not the top of the market. It wasn't the main bull run, more like a preliminary bull run. There's always a preliminary bull run a year before the main bull run happens. So if you can capture this bottom, you will make maximum money, and then you sell somewhere around here. When we have this blow off top of the altcoin market cap moving back above the red line, which is the 20 EMA on weekly, right? When the prices start moving, the altcoin total market cap, this is not price, this is everything. Okay, combine all those price. This is the entire crypto market cap. Moving back above this moving average line, well above it, not just too close. Let me zoom out the screen. Well above it, right? Remember that this is a log scale. If I expand this thing, you'll not even see, you see that it's well high above these things that I'm showing you. But the log scale just concentrates this whole thing, so you see clearly. Now, that 2019 we have this year, and then it retraced back to the red line. So you should be looking to sell here. Even if you sell here, you don't need to catch the entire top of 2023. Now I'm looking at 2023. Remember I said we're going to buy back around November, December 2022. And now we are looking to sell around mid-year, June. Look at this. This is June 2019. Look at the bottom of my screen. We have June, July, mid-year 2019. All right? This is more like a blow-off top. Then we should sell around 2023 mid-year and look to buy back very soon, maybe around August, September. If you can remember vividly, some of us that were with us, we had a very severe crash in September last year, 2020, where we didn't even trade. Okay, we didn't even trade, and a lot of people were losing money. I told you guys, wait, be patient. This market is coming back. This is all you see in the chart. This is history playing out. This is that 2019 here. In 2020, we had okay, that was actually 2019, not even 2020. Even 2020, we had another red. I think was that another red? Yeah, look at it. September 2020, we had another red candle moving down. You can see the slope here, back down to the red line. So this is just history playing itself every September. Going back here every September to the red line at least. September 2016, September 2019. Let's go back to our 2019 chart. So you can see it fell back here. So if at least you want to start buying back your altcoin in 2023, make sure you're buying back at least on the red line of the entire market cap, crypto market cap, or the altcoin market cap. If it's altcoins that you're focusing on, you focus on the altcoin market cap on the red line at least. But you can see that we actually breached the red line, fell below the 100 EMA, and fell below the 200 EMA, sorry, the 50 EMA, the 100 EMA, and even fell below the 200 EMA. But this one was specifically due to COVID-19, right? You can remember, this is, you can see it, 9th March. On that day, it was horrible. So normally, I would not assume that we will go as low as back to the 200 EMA because it indicates that we're even going back to a bear. Since we're in a bull season, it's just retracements that we should be looking at. So at least on the 20 or 50 or worst case 100 EMA line, we should have stopped here because you can see in 2014 we did not go beyond that blue line. Okay, even though we didn't have so much history. But I assume we should stop at 100 EMA on weekly. But then COVID made it so worse that we went back to the BS. Look at it. We went back literally to the lows, the 2019 lows, right? Look at it here. If I draw a line, a horizontal line here, you see that this is just support. So we went back here and started taking off. Now you can see this chart going up, testing it back here around September again, 2020. We're going back. Look at it, green candles on weekly every week. And nobody actually realizes that we've been going well above the red line, the weekly red line. Look at where we are today. We are calling this such a huge dump. That's why I'm telling you that if the bear market actually starts today, we have not even seen any dump. We're going to see horrible dumps, which is the reason why we suggest that traders or investors take profit when the bear season begins. Even though we are not assuming that the bear season is here, of course, nobody is going to know. There is no timer on the earth that's going to tell you. It's just on-chain matrix and indicators that will tell you, okay, maybe, likely. But we've not seen that yet. We know that this is all a coordinated fraud and all of this. But even if eventually the bull run ends here, we know that we have a timeline of where to start buying, or at least where to sell if we get a relief bounce. So it's up to you to do what you want to do. If you think, okay, that we've not seen the end of the bull market, you could have your diamond hands like Tesla, all right? Now, look at this stop here that we have. Comparing it to this bottom, we had this long dip, then a bounce again, which is what I expect to see. We are definitely going to see another green week, right? We can see the green weeks after this drop. Green weeks 1, 2, then this stop consolidation here. So maybe this is when we will be around 43 or 46K. If you think, okay, this is it, I'm out of this market, I'm recovering a little, I want to cut it, I want to call it short here, fine. But like I told you, altcoins, I believe, have a lot of room to go. If I think the bull run is over, we will be seeing altcoins tank in their BTC pairs severely. If everyone actually thinks the bear season has come upon us, we would see the altcoin BTC pairs tank severely. But right now, it's just the BTC that is dragging everything, the dollar value down. Not so many altcoins are not losing their Satoshi value. Actually, a lot of them are pumping or holding strong with the Satoshi value. That is why I keep telling you that all season is supposed to be upon us. Looking at that Bitcoin dominance chart that I shared earlier, we are just at a prime moment for all season to be upon us, right? Now, look, I think if I share the altcoin dominance, this is actually the alt dominance chart anyway. Total market cap, and this is it. This is what we're supposed to be saying. When Bitcoin dominance chart is falling, the alt cap is going up like this. So now we are just testing this support. This first support will be tested here. This is what we are testing. This support right here. Is it too much a fall? We can't call this too much a fall from a macro perspective. But if you're looking at it from day to day, we know that we are losing a lot of money. So the market cap has gone as low as $1.64 trillion. As it went as high as let's see the high, as high as $2 trillion, $2.16 trillion or thereabout. And now we are consolidating on this red line on the weekly. Why do you not think that this place will be a bottom? Why is someone thinking or assuming that we're going to 20K or 25K or something? I'm not saying this is not possible, but even if this is going to happen, like I said, we're going to have those relief bounces. So you just keep watch over that. Now, like I said, we sell mid-year 2023, and that is when it crosses and consolidates above the 20 EMA weekly red line. Let's go back to that 2019 so I mix these things up. This is it. It crosses above the 20 EMA weekly midline. We sell here and try to buy back at this support, this red line, when it starts to fall back and when it hits the support on a red weekly candle. We have to make sure it's a red weekly candle so we catch a good dip, right? So we're going to be paying attention to these things. That's why we are family here. So you're just going to be keeping tabs on these things. Now, when are we supposed to rebuy? All right, we're buying around this 200, 200 EMA, like I said. All right, so this is it. Having this knowledge alone puts you far, far ahead of so many people in crypto who do not know about how to use EMA like this, how to use the moving averages to determine your entries and your exits, how to use not just moving averages to focus not just on individual charts, but the market cap as well. You see how important the market cap is when you're looking at a macro perspective. Now you know that if you're looking at this market cap, you're buying based on knowledge. No matter the kind of shitcoin you buy, if you had done that in the so many things that are pumping today, you wouldn't even have believed, because a lot of us thought, okay, these are shitcoins. Probably there are shitcoins in reality, but because this is a bull run, everything literally pumps, right? There's this positive sentiment, everything pumps in the bull run. So we assume that so many things that we have on hold today, if we sell them, nothing spoiled, right? If we sell them and we decide, okay, we've confirmed that this is a bear season. We say we want to take profit or just cut our losses or whatever. We know that if we are buying them back in a bear season, no matter how bad the project is, it's at least going to pump maybe like 500, 1,000%, 10,000% if you had bought at a very good price. So this is what we're going to be looking at. But of course, we'll try to focus on solid projects that will build through the bear markets. Because let me tell you, a lot of... Someone is joining again. Excuse me. A lot of projects are going to disappear. All right? A lot of projects, I tell you, I guarantee you for sure, I can bet my money on this, a lot of projects are going to disappear. A lot of them disappeared in 2018. Yes, a lot of them disappeared. Some couldn't stand the test of time. Some of them not because they wanted to disappear. Some ran out of money. Okay? Some all the ICO money they raised, because then it was just ICO money. It was just white paper we had. A lot of them disappeared with the money and did whatever they liked. Some of them actually scammed and blocked their Telegram groups. I remember a lot of them who could not even live up to the hype and say, okay, we're building this project. So some of these new rubbish tokens that we're buying today, we're all buying these shit tokens, right? And we're going to see that some of them will exit scam in the next bear season. Some of them who don't even understand how the market works. But of course, we are going to focus on projects who we see are building regardless. We saw Binance building regardless in the last bear season. That is why you see them replicate this kind of success in the bull season. Binance literally single-handedly built everything and laid the footprints. I'm not shilling Binance. I'm not an ambassador or anything. But this guy single-handedly built the infrastructure and so many things that others have copied and replicated. IEOs, whatever, launch pools, name them. Binance started it all and everyone is following, right? So that is why these guys are joining the industry. So you see that we're going to focus on projects who continue building. I know we have solid bags right now. And these bags that we're holding that I keep sharing, I'm still going to talk about them in the bear season. We'll see how the development continues. Even though we might sell, it's not even might, we will. Because I don't think there's need for you to hold anything, no matter how much you believe in the coin, in the bear season, all right? Unless you're comfortable keeping that money, those tokens. But we are going to have red markets and the prices, they're going to lose these prices. So you see that these are just tokens and means to make money. It does not reflect the company's income, all right? It does not mean that the project will stop building. If these projects are building real life solutions, it doesn't mean because we're in a bear market that they will stop building because their token price is tanking down. No. The business is not dependent on the token price. This is why they will continue to build, right? Their business is not dependent on the token price. So we're going to be focusing on these projects. So guys, right, this is literally what I want to talk about when we are buying and when we are selling. Now that you know where you should be buying and where you should be selling and where you should be rebuying for the next bear bull run, let me know how pumped are you guys? How do you think? Do you think we can position ourselves to make big wealth off the next bear season? We literally just $100, $200, $500. This is when we say $500 to $1 million. You see that it's possible. In which respect? If you look at history, if you did the right thing, nobody sees this thing from this rear view ahead of time. But if you look from the rear view, you see that you would have made a shit ton of money if you bought at the right time. So even if you have little money and buy at the right time, you see, and you're patient, you see that you're going to make a truckload of money. So let's assume that this is what the entire market cap does in the bear season. We go from here down, 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 because this is going to be moving. This moving average line is going to be adjusting as the price, as the beer season comes. So maybe somewhere around here, we can have this line join up somewhere here. Forget my dirty drawing, but we can have this because all over, okay, historically, you would look and see that this thing has been going up. Okay, it has been going up. So you don't expect, this is a very big dump. So you're going to expect something like this too, and maybe this resistance somewhere using here or here, right? This is it. The top of the previous bull market might become the bottom. What I am seeing, possibly, maybe around $500 trillion, or sorry, 500, is it billion? Sorry, $500 billion or so. Okay, the top of the last bull market might flip and turn to the resistance, sorry, or the support that we are looking to buy in the next bear season. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on the crypto market cap. Keep an eye on the altcoin market cap. This is literally all you need to make a shit ton of money in the next bear season. And we're going to be here, God willing, if we are alive, we're going to make a shit ton of money in the next bear season. But our focus right now is on reality and where we are. So we are going to observe the market over the next few days. Now, another thing I should point out is this. Whether you're deciding, okay, say we're in a bear season, you don't know whether to short from here or whether to long from here. That is why sometimes patience is just too important to the market. At some point, you just have to literally stay off from the market, right? Even if 1 or 2 times you take trades, okay, and see what happens. But if you look at the long-term perspective here weekly, you know that we've been in uptrend. That is why I don't share short options in a bull market. You don't bet against the prevailing trend. So until you confirm that we flipped from bullish to bearish, that is when you should at least start thinking about shorting the market. What if we automatically, start going back up again? We've had huge long candles in one single day. These are weekly candles. But if we break this down to a daily candle, we will see that at some point we have these huge long candles, 10%. If Bitcoin can lose 20% in a day, why don't you think it can go 10% in a day? So imagine when you're shorting the market, even if it's an altcoin and Bitcoin moves 10%, don't you see you're getting liquidated? Now, because you don't understand that the market has not accumulated enough for you to decide if this is a bull or a bear, you should not be shorting just because you see we're in red. Actually, when we are in red is when you should be longing, because this is a support. We are still generally in a macro uptrend. Even if we were at this bottom right now, this orange line, we are still in a bull market, around 30 or even 25, even 20K, we are still in a bull market until we then start flip below these lines. Okay, if we flip and consolidate below this red line, it will not be nice, to be honest. We'll start thinking about bears because this is a weekly candle. But then again, we have to go down, down, down. So this orange line, break this support, break this one, and by that time you must have lost a lot of money. Okay, so at least you know what to do if this is a bull, but then you don't want to be shorting from here until we confirm that we have moved. And it might take several weeks or even a few months for you to confirm that we have moved from bullish to bearish season. Now we'll start forming a downtrend instead of an uptrend like we have here. So any trade you're taking right now is literally, you're just literally gambling. Okay, you're just literally gambling away your money, and anything could happen. That's why you have to be patient for the market to do what it wants to do before you react, because the market is just so irrational. It can be as irrational as it wants to be for as long as you remain solvent. So when your money finishes, the market will continue moving back up, and you say, oh, I could have waited to buy here or so. So this is it. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you have, if you've learned anything, if this session has made any kind of sense to you. And if you have questions, I'd love to hear you. Maybe put it in the comments so we don't have so much noise in the background. If you have any question or contribution first, please, let's hear you out, guys, because I think I'm done talking. So
okay. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Wonderful presentation, Miracle. Great. I've learned a lot. I'm not good with technical analysis. I'm more of the fundamental. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just give me a
Miracle.
second.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay.
We can hear you.
We
can hear you.
Okay, I said nice presentation. Thank you very much for the robust explanation. I said I'm not really good with technical analysis. I'm more of a fundamentals because I'm still practicing the technical part.
Okay.
My question is these these explanations are for the fundamentals, but we just saw what played out with Dogecoin. So no matter how solid one's fundamentals are,
Technicals.
once the technicals are, that means an Elon Musk or someone similar can just wake up and invalidate your one's technical analysis. So what's your take on this? Even with what you painted now, at least I know where we are heading. I have as an headway where we are going to. Some certain things will not take me unawares. But what's your take on the fundamental aspect of it? Even after taking your time to do all these technicals, and someone like Dangote now wakes up and tweets something that would invalidate your technicals. How do you go about this?
Okay, great question. The thing is this: fundamentals are always so important in the market. That is why we have fundamental analysis and technical analysis. But you cannot put down the place of technical analysis. Technical analysis is just so important. But however, fundamental is more important than technical analysis when it comes to any market. But then, in a case, it's not every time you have that kind of fundamental analysis. So the bigger picture is always going to be painted on technical analysis, because technical analysis is what you can see from a rear view, and is what every trader, every experienced trader at least, backs their opinion by. All right, this is what they back their opinion by. But fundamentals, you don't know what is going to come. You didn't even know that Tesla was going to adopt Bitcoin or start tweeting about Bitcoin. Over the last few years, we didn't know that Tesla was going to be here, or
Yeah.
Elon Musk is going to be here. So you can't count on fundamentals in such manner. Nobody thought that Doge was going to do what it's going. We all believed it was a shitcoin. We all still think it's a shitcoin, aside the fact that Elon Musk is giving its value right now, and it's over billions of dollars in market cap right now. You can't literally tell me that Doge is a shitcoin, even though I still place it there, because if Elon Musk stops supporting it right now, there are no fundamentals, there are no devs pushing, there's no use case. It's just like Bitcoin that was
Yes.
initially used as exchange, okay, a means of exchange. So Doge is just literally a means of exchange, just like Bitcoin. That is what that is what Elon Musk thinks, because he thinks that Bitcoin, Doge consumes this energy and all this thing. So it's more like I don't know if I would say he's trying to see it in such a way that people perceive Bitcoin, and he's dragging the American community to believe that Doge is actually what Bitcoin is supposed to be. But of course, we literally know that Doge is a meme coin. It was created as a meme coin. It's still a meme coin. So we don't have to back our analysis on just fundamentals. Technicals are way more important. If you know technicals, then you can start thinking about fundamentals, right? So you have to still pay attention. Anyone else? I hope I answered that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Let me look at the chat to see if we have any question. Sorry guys for this, I delayed their joining. I'm just seeing the message right now.
Hello. I have a question. So, during your presentation, you were saying that at some point, if we flip the 20 EMA or the 50 EMA, then it's likely we're in a bear season. At which point, somebody like me must have died, and I would not have any money again. I'm kind of fixed right now, because one, it's impossible to say where the peak of the market is, so you can sell the top. You actually cannot sell the top. But then again, you're wondering how you're going to find out where is low enough for me to go with my remaining small money that is left. I mean, just this small dump now, I can't recognize my Binance portfolio again. So I can't imagine now waiting for the crypto market cap to be getting to $1.5 billion, $3 billion. I can't, Baba, if I wait reach that time, guy, you go here say person don't pay me for this life. So how do we know where to actually start selling off our bags and converting to USDT.
That's true. That is why I showed this BTC chart to see exactly where we are and where we could likely bounce back to. So if eventually we want to start selling, right? I'm showing this chart again just to reconfirm. Right? If eventually you want to sell at the bounce, then you should be looking at these Fibonacci levels that I dropped here. I'm going to share this chart on VIP as well. So you look at these lines here. Then you also point out your. I do not think, like I tell you, I keep telling you strongly that I do not think that the BS will start here. But if eventually we will have relief bounces on all your charts that you see there, okay, until people's bias about altcoins change, that is when we will now start saying, okay, but Bitcoin has capitulated. Because normally, why people are still holding altcoins right now? In the last bull run, after Bitcoin capitulation, we had the last leg of altcoins. Bitcoin stopping its bull run does not mean that the entire bull run has ended. We now have the altcoins where the maximum gains are. We've not seen that last leg up. We've not seen that parabolic blow off top, even though it might not happen to the same level, but we've not seen those things. If you remember this, there's a tweet I shared. Cap Noah tweeted. I shared it on VIP. If you look through that tweet, I'm going to make reference back to it after this meeting. That particular tweet, just for those who were not here when I shared that tweet. If you look at this on-chain matrix, there are so many of them that we've not even come close to. We've not gotten to this line. So if eventually we've not gotten to these lines, why would we think that the bull run has ended? Let's just remove Elon Musk from this equation. Let's remove Elon Musk from this equation. This is not supposed to be happening if Elon Musk did not start becoming bearish with Bitcoin. We might have at least bounced somewhere well above here, maybe around 50k or thereabout. We might have just bounced right there, or maybe above this channel that we have here, right? At least 46k here. We should at least bounce here. But then Elon Musk started flooding, China fraud came and all these things. I mean, this is it for the literally the common man who does not have so much to pour in, like Michael Saylor, you and I. We don't have that much. So I understand what you're saying. If eventually we start waiting for the market to invalidate, you're going to lose a lot of money. That is why you have to start thinking. That is if you personally are tired, your conviction is there. Okay? If you want to follow my own conviction, maybe you can follow mine. But of course, you know the risks that are involved. I may be willing to lose more money. You may not. Right? I may not even be willing to lose more money because this one we're all losing. It's paining everybody. Right? So if you think that your conviction is not that strong enough, now you have to be looking at the relief bounce. There's no way we will not have another green week. It is not possible. Put me anywhere. Because even in the worst of BS, we still have green candle. Even in 2018, we had a lot of relief bounces. Bitcoin moving 10-20%. We had that, yes. So at some point, we are going to have that relief bounce again. So maybe you're looking at these Fibonacci levels and keep it in your notes that if eventually anything happens, this is where I should be taking my profit or whatever is left of this market. And if eventually you take your profit there and the market starts to recover, we're going to have to buy back higher again. So this is just the quagmire in trading and investing in volatile assets. That is why it is not set in stone where you should take your profits. You have to take your profits on the way up. Always be taking and be taking and be taking. But these mistakes, we say it all and we do these mistakes and we don't take that enough profit. We don't take our profit and we get stuck in dumps like this. But this is what we should be doing, taking profit on the way up and on the way down, just in case. Just in case. There's no way we are going to maximize this market. No matter. There's no guru. There's no guru anywhere. Michael Saylor. Nobody's going to maximize this market except those like Elon Musk who have the influence to move this market. Because when they start selling, that is when they will start causing fraud, right? But people like you and I, we don't have such power, right? And I don't think there's anybody who has such capacity as Elon Musk, not in Africa, not in the world, to move a market like this, unless it's the US president or something like that. Or presidents of countries, right? Maybe that's people who come close to powerful men like Elon Musk. So I guess that answers it.
Hello? Hello? I have a question, please.
Okay. Let me go back to
Michael.
Okay, go on.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Thank you very much for your time. Yeah. I want to appreciate your time and effort for hosting this meeting.
Thank you.
Personally, though I'm new to crypto industry, most of my analysis are only based on technical analysis.
Can you speak up a little bit so we can hear you, please? I don't know if you're far from the
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but we'd appreciate it if it's loud enough, like for the two of us.
Okay. Yeah. So I base most of my analysis only based mostly on technical analysis because for the fundamental aspect of it, the source of information are so vast that sometimes I find it difficult to try to summarize them. So most of my analysis are always based on technical analysis. And from the looking of things, most of my distance I look into the market structure of every coin or whatever. Because I'm talking from experience from forex markets. And looking at the market structure of crypto, like Bitcoins precisely, you can find out that Bitcoin has been making higher high, but of recent in the daily chart, Bitcoin has started making a lower low, has made 2 consecutive lower low. So what I'm trying to say, that Bit market has broke structure downward, filing a downward trend. So, like from analysis, you are still of the view that we are still in a bull market, no doubt. But daily time frame, you can see that the BS has come up. So the chances of the market now, I don't know any fundamental analysis supporting the market overrunning this recent BS sentiment we just have now. So I'm trying to see I know some people have some speculation of certain support level that from about. I have more. I'm more convinced that the peers are into the market fully, regardless of whoever that tweets or whatever. I'm not conscious of what they tweet. I'm looking at what the chat says. So I'm seeing it. I don't know whether they have a different view from what I'm saying, but from daily, because you use weekly to do your analysis. I'm looking from daily chart. So where should we rely more? Should we rely more on weekly chart or on daily chart? That is my number 1 question. Number 2 question is, don't you have other pairs that are not correlated with Bitcoins? Because most of the coins are responding to what the Bitcoin is doing. So I'm trying to see if there's some other coins that are not correlated with Bitcoins. So if you have any, just for some.
Okay, I'm going to start from your second question. Thank you, Jose. Okay. Your second question: Bitcoin is the king of the market, and every price, every other altcoin is hinged to Bitcoin. Performance of other altcoins is hinged to Bitcoin. That is why we keep seeking for the market to decouple completely from Bitcoin. We've been screaming this since 2018. We want this market to decouple from Bitcoin because whatever happens to Bitcoin affects other altcoins. Even if altcoins want to move and Bitcoin is not moving, or Bitcoin is dumping, you will be losing dollar value. And because people are losing dollar value, they will not be inclined to buy altcoins. So they can't push the price of altcoins. Unless we get to a maturity stage in this crypto market. Remember, the industry is still very new. The chart is very new, has not too much history. So unless we come to a point where we completely decouple from Bitcoin, so whatever Bitcoin does is not our business. I don't even know if that's going to happen because these things are paired against BTC. Unless we want to start trading USDT charts, the entire crypto industry wants to start trading USDT charts, and we know that it becomes easier. We are trading just USDT chart, but we are trading BTC pairs, and that's the biggest pair. Because if you say you want to trade BTC pair on your own individually, you're still going to burn because the entire market is hinged against Bitcoin. So that answers that question for now. There's no other pair that you are going to be looking to compare with what as against what Bitcoin chart is doing. So you're going to always pay attention to Bitcoin. As long as crypto is concerned, you're going to pay attention to the Bitcoin chart. Then for the first question, I guess you talked about what's that again?
The market structure. Market structure.
Okay. You were talking about whether we should focus on daily and weekly candle. Yeah, I showed that on weekly candle to capture a broader market perspective. But of course, when you're looking for entries or exits, you have to also be looking at the daily candle and the 4-hour candles. That is when you have to now expand your chart, all right? You maybe start from the bigger ones, then you start going lower and lower and lower. the macro perspective is always important for you to see the bigger trend, what is prevailing. When I started this, I showed you how, okay, we were forming lower lows, which you also identified, thank God. Yes, for now, the market sentiment is bearish. Everybody can see that on the chart. There's no deceiving, there's nobody selling you hopium or trying to tell you that Bitcoin is going up right now. The market sentiment is completely low, but it doesn't mean that that cannot flip at any time, all right? I also showed you that we are at support on weekly level, whether it is on the Bitcoin chart, whether it is on the total, the altcoin market cap, whether it is on the entire crypto market cap, we are at support on every level. So you showed you that red weekly candle. We are on the 20 MA on the weekly for every chart that we looked at right there. So I would think that this is a very good support. Now we should start getting worried if we can't even breach above that support at all. So we have to wait for the next few days to see what happens, right? If we have not sold already, we have to wait for the next few days to see what happens. This is not a good time to start selling. Imagine you sold at 30K a few hours ago and the price moved to 38K and 40K. Just look at how bad it would have been. So even if you want to sell, like I said, you have to start paying attention to the relief bounce, the Fibonacci levels that I put on that chart. I'm going to drop that chart. Just guys, remind me, I'm going to drop that chart in VIP so you keep it in mind and watch those levels clearly. So even if you want to start looking at where resistance should be, we will definitely have resistance at those fib levels. But eventually, I believe we will flip it if we go from bearish to bullish market sentiment. I like to think that we are down enough. Honestly, I like to think that we're down enough. But of course, you don't get your hopes up. Maybe at that point, you want to sell a little and make sure you're holding some USDT eventually if something happens. Because let me tell you guys, see, no matter how, unless you don't want to make a lot of money off trading, or this is just your strategy of trading, it is totally okay. You don't have to trade futures, all right? And I don't even encourage everyone to trade futures. But if eventually we get into a bear season, you cannot make money holding altcoins, which means you have to sell off your altcoins and focus on the futures and trade with low leverage once we confirm that the market has switched to bear, that the trend has begun. Then we can start shorting the same way we were longing in the bull season. So, but this is not compulsory. We don't have to. The reason we do this here is just so that we'll give everyone a complete package to show you guys that this is what we should be doing. Right? It's not in every community we go to that you see that they don't even trade futures in so many communities. They don't teach it. But of course, you want to try as much as possible and make sure that we all know these things. So you now have that skill and knowledge to do whatever to still make money, even though we'll lose money in any market condition. That's just the idea. But in a bear season, the only way you will make money is by shorting the market, unless you want to stay away completely from the market, which is still not bad, right? It's still not bad. If you have other businesses or anything you're doing, good, that's great. Then you start waiting for the bear season again and start buying where we have positioned our interest for. So that's it. I hope this answers your question. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Amarachi says something. I'm having trouble understanding the TA part of crypto. Is there an easier way? I don't know what else is an easier way. You just have to.
Please pardon my dumb question, please.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Sometimes I see you making comments like perpetual and future. Is there any more difference between perpetual coins, perpetual trade, and future trade, please?
Okay, all of that is on futures. That is all futures trading. But then we have perpetual futures and quarterly futures. All right. Quarterly futures is the ones that have a timeline on it. Maybe at the end of a quarter, right? At the end of a quarter, it expires. These are expiry contracts, right? Just like we have in the forex and commodities market, we have quarterly futures. But then in crypto, we have perpetual futures. From the word perpetual, you should know its meaning, everlasting, right? It doesn't end. These contracts don't expire, so you can hold the position for as long as you want. If you want to hold a Bitcoin long for 10 months, you can hold it. That is what perpetual futures means. And that is why we trade perpetual futures. That is why most crypto people trade perpetual futures. Bitcoin futures trading started with perpetual, I think. It started with quarterly, actually, I think, on Bitville. Then exchanges started introducing, I don't know if it's Bitmex or Binance that introduced perpetual futures. I can't remember vividly. But then they introduced perpetual, and people saw how important perpetual was, how easier it was. Of course, they don't have to bother with expiration and all that. You can hold the position as long as. But I don't think there's need for you to hold any position for 10 months or something. But even if eventually you think you want to hold it in low leverage, maybe when the bear season comes again, we will have more opportunities to make more money because these features markets have now been created for us. We can now take longs from the bottom of the market with a very low leverage. You get my point? So these are the things we should be considering in the next bear market. We are both trading on the spot market, and we are trading, if God willing, we'll be trading on the spot market and we're trading on the futures market. We'll be taking longs from the bottom of the market. So you see someone shared the screenshot or the group that the other day, how someone has been holding an Ethereum long, I think that was Ethereum long, for as long as he made over $100 and something thousand or so. So this is something you do to get that kind of result. So perpetual futures helps you make be in a trade without expiry. Yep. That's it.
So my question then would be, why does the perpetual contracts, why do the long and short positions on the perpetual contract get heavily affected by the expiry of the quarterly contracts? Because of course, the last Friday of every month is when of every month, I think, is when the quarterly contracts close. And then there are withdrawals and all of that.
Yeah, of course.
But that is also when we see that the futures get huge dips. So why do the PAP contracts get heavy? The quarterly contracts.
Okay, because it is not that the PEP futures are getting dips. It is just that the market is getting dip. Like Bitcoin on this one is getting dip. And if Bitcoin is dipping on the spot market, it's dipping on the futures market. It doesn't matter if it's perpetual or quarterly you're trading. Now, normally those expiry dates come with jittery, right? They come with volatile market situations. You can see that every last Friday of every month, like you said, you've observed, comes with volatility. This is just market. This is just normalcy of the market because there's expiration. So there will be people trying to catch up and, taking some crazy decisions which affects, because it's affecting the general Bitcoin price on the spot level. Whatever happens on the spot is reflecting on the futures. Whatever is happening on the quarterly is reflecting on the price. It is that same price that we are trading on the perpetual futures. I don't know if you get this. So whatever happens on the Bitcoin spot markets, whatever happens on the quarterly market is equally going to affect the perpetual futures. It's just the price that we are reacting to. Remember, this is derivatives trading. We are not trading actual Bitcoins on the perpetual futures or on the quarterly futures. We are trading derivatives, all right? We are trading the price. We are betting against on the price of this asset moving up and down with our USDT. So whatever happens to the price in the spot market is affecting our money, all right? So that is why we have these quarterly futures affecting the perpetual markets. I hope this answers this. Hi, Kolo. I hope this answers this. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me talk to Amara. She said she's having trouble understanding TA part of the crypto. You just have to bring out time, Amara. You just have to bring out time to learn the TA because TA is the most important part of crypto. If you learn how to, normally when anybody comes in, because I always like them to focus on grasping the basics, which is to buy and sell, how to place trades. Then when you're comfortable with navigating the Binance and other exchange platforms, you now start transitioning to technical analysis. Because I can tell you to focus on the buy and sell part, how to navigate the interface to buy on peer-to-peer and trade, place trades, use OCO, use stop limit, and use all the kind of others there. Good. When you get familiar with that, you now have to transition to technical and fundamental analysis. Learn how analysis work because this is where the work is in crypto. If you don't have anybody doing good technical analysis, you're going to be messing up your money more frequently. Even good technical analysts lose money because the market sentiment comes into play, just like we're having right now, right? But if the market sentiment is balanced, we all observe that we make more money than we lose in the market. But when you're not sure of the market sentiment, everybody, no matter how good you are, gets liquidated. If you're over trading, you're trading with leverage. Even in this recent term, people with leverage as well as 2x got liquidated. So what are we saying? But then this is where technical analysis even gets flawed. So you see just how important technical analysis is. Even when you know it, you still get to make mistakes. So how about not knowing it? You cannot trade on your own if you don't know technical analysis and if you don't know it well, not just knowing it. Because you could know moving averages, you could know Fibonacci, you could know what they do, but you are not yet conversant with how to apply it effectively on a chart. That's a whole new level. But of course, everything takes time, as you just like, school goes on, 4 years you spend. If you spend enough time in the market, there is no way you're not going to learn these things. If you spend enough time putting these things into practice, applying and putting them on your charts, there is no way you're not going to learn technical analysis. It's not rocket science. A lot of people say it's difficult. I do not argue that. Okay, I'm not going to try to tell you it's too easy, but still, technical analysis is not that difficult. There's nothing unlearnable, by the way. It's not that difficult that anybody can learn it. I mean, we have programmers in this community, plenty of them. See the code George Chidera is writing. Ezekiel, where are you? So you see these guys are doing is it technical analysis that we cannot learn? Everybody can learn technical analysis only if you give enough time to it. As for easier way, it's just by watching those videos and replicating. I believe that's easy enough. That answers that. Anybody else?
Yes, boss. Hello.
I can hear you.
Please, I don't know how this question is sounding. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Someone is talking in the background. Please mute your mic. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know how really relevant this question is sound. For somebody who has gone through those courses, the course that you sent to us,
okay,
and has led to participate in future trading, how much capital at least is the person said?
Okay, this depends on your portfolio size, first of all. All right, you cannot transition from, if you're a learner, if you're a beginner on features, you cannot transition from sports to technical analysis with all your capital. Okay, if you go through that features trading part, everything you need, especially the golden rule, you see that there's a lot of risk management on that golden rule class. So you have to practice with the risk management. First of all, you have to start practicing with as little as $10. As little as that, something you can afford to lose. If you cannot afford to lose $10, go with 5. Start with that. Make your mistakes, all right? Make your mistakes with little amount. Find out where you're making these mistakes and correct them. So that when you start going big, you will not make too many mistakes. You will not be found wanting. You will not, start saying, I've known this now. The money is not there again. I've lost all the money in the market. That is why you have time to practice with little money. Then go back to those golden rules, ask questions in the community. People are always there to give you. If you can see by observation, we learn a lot just by discussing in the community. We find out new strategies and how these things work, better ways to do things on futures market. So if you're getting in new, I would advise you to always start with little money, as long as something you can afford to lose, and always little leverage. Very little money, little leverage, so you can see how it works. If you make 10% on $10, it's $1. If you lose 10% on $10, it's $1 you lost. So you didn't lose too much. If you get liquidated on $10, you got liquidated on $10, right? You didn't lose too much. So, but you have to practice with little amount, very little amount, after making sure you've gone through everything on the futures.
You know what I'm asking is, the lower I get that the lower you bridge, the higher the capital.
I can barely hear you. Can you repeat, please? Can you start again? Sorry.
That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm asking. Like the lower the leverage, lower your leverage. You want to go for 5x, 3x, the higher the capital that's expected. So that's what I'm trying to ask. As if somebody is
Can we hear him, or is it just me? It's breaking. Can we hear him?
I can hear you clear.
I know you can hear me. Can we all hear him?
No, his hand is breaking.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly, that's what you're saying.
It's breaking.
It's breaking. I wish I could hear you better.
Can you hear me now, please?
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So like the lower the leverage you want to enter into an asset, the higher the capital that you have been expected to use. That's what I'm asking. Like sometimes, like maybe as a beginner, we try to use like 3x, 5x, but the lower the leverage you're using it, the higher capital for you to use for that distance. That's what I'm asking to do. At least, let me say like $50. I want to use $50 to start up or something close to that. So what are the likely chances that somebody can use that you cannot easily be liquidated with ease? That is my concern.
If you don't want to be liquidated, you have to use lower leverage, and increase your capital to an extent. But even with small money and a stable market, chances are you're not going to get liquidated if only you get a good entry. That is why the first step is to learn technical analysis and learn how to derive a good entry. If you're using our signals, chances are you're going to get good interest unless the market is irrational. But of course, the idea is for you to learn how to do it on your own, because I may not always be here, and sometimes you will need to make money, definitely. So the first idea is for you to get a good entry. Then the next one is for you to use a low leverage. Then the next one is for you to increase your capital. But as a starter, even if you're doing it with low leverage and small capital, it still doesn't matter. The only idea is that you're not trading at that point to make big money off the market. You're trading to practice. You're trading to experiment the market and see what works and what doesn't work before you go big. So if you just say, okay, you want to start making big money off your first trade on futures and all that, you're setting yourself up for mistakes, especially if you're not solid enough in technical analysis. So this is just the idea behind leverage. Low leverage, increase capital. Increase capital does not mean use $1,000 or $500. Yes, you can do that, but you see the risk involved in using bigger amounts to trade futures is crazy, because in situations like this, you lose so much money. That is why even as little as $100 is big enough for you to make consistent profit of the market. $100, $200, $50, $80, within that range, you could split it into a couple of trades. Let's say you just want to, move a $1,000 portfolio to your futures. You shouldn't even be going beyond $100 to $200 in a particular trade, because you always have to leave out money for dips. You always have to leave out money to buy at lower support levels, or to buy or to add more above your liquidation price or something like that if you don't want to get liquidated. It's only because the market is highly irrational at this point that everyone is getting liquidated regardless. Okay, but if you do the right things that we are supposed to do, you will have more chances of winning more than you lose in futures. Yeah. I guess that answers that. Thank you.
Just a follow-up question. So in my case where, yes, I have lost money in the past because I didn't understand a lot, but now I do. Yeah, and I have a better understanding of watching the market, right? So it has not been my stupidity or my ignorance that I'm money. It's something somewhere and then the market dumping on me that is losing me money. So what do I do in this case? Avoid futures entirely?
Yes, at this point, especially when the market is uncertain, I would say it's good to avoid futures entirely. All right? And then again, you have to make sure that you're getting a good entry. You have to make sure that you're getting a good entry. It is not because you assume that you're getting a good entry. You have to look at the chart and look at this chart and say, for real, I am actually getting a good entry. All right? Because you would notice now, when I try to pick longs, I usually go for the ones that have retraced to their daily bottoms, right? I prefer to long those ones instead of the ones that are maybe just around their 5 or 10 EMA on daily. I don't want to go for those ones because the chart still looks over bloated to me. So if you're using a 4-hour chart and seeing a 20 MA or a 50 MA on a 4-hour chart and think it's a good chart, zoom out, change it to the daily, change it to the weekly, see where that chart is. When you go to the daily and see that it's maybe around the 5 MA on daily, and then you go and look for another pair and see another pair that is around the 20 MA or 50 MA on daily, tell me which is better. Is it not the one on 50 MA? So that's why I said you don't have to assume that you are getting a good entry. You have to actually make sure you're getting a good entry. The first point in being secure, more confident in your entry, in your trade, is getting a good entry. Once you get that, the rest is even. Then leave the rest to the market, just like we did, and we saw that the market has just done what it did. We have to adjust.
Okay, so
the market does what it does. Yeah.
So let me give you one clear example. Your call on GRT.
Yep.
Right now, and I mean, very recently, what I started doing was to split. If I have a budget for one trade, I would split it into 4. So let's say I intend to put $100 on that GRT. I would take a size that is worth $25, and then keep $75 for drawdowns, right? And then I entered your trade. and I still got liquidated.
Yeah, that is
even after averaging in, even after adding margin for the drawdowns.
This is why I said in exceptional cases like we have right now. I mean, everybody got. I just mentioned everybody got liquidated. Myself, I got liquidated on GRT. Yeah, because I averaged in on it. So you can see that these are just exceptional market situations. We have this on and off. I mean, it comes. There are times when we have severe dips like this. It will come again. We will get liquidated again, and we get used to it. We're still going to make profits in the market. But the idea is that when the market is balanced, this is supposed to go right. That is one thing you should first understand. That when the market is balanced, that this is supposed to go right. Unless we have a very irrational market behavior where anybody, it doesn't matter how good your technical analysis is, everybody will get liquidated. Unless you're not in a trade, or you're doing the opposite at that point. Of course, you don't want to be shorting in a bull market, like I said. That is why we've been taking long trades. But yeah, that's what happened in that case.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you.
For putting that on the chart. The markets could be irrational sometimes. Getting a good entry is how the trade ended. Yeah, great. Anyone else? Or should we start rounding up? We've spent over 1 hour or close to 2. It's about 9 p.m.
Please, Miracle.
Yes, ma'am.
For people like me that got lost during the staking discussion, could you kindly arrange any meeting to take us strictly on staking? Staking, provision of a liquidity. I'm just saying some other time. Please, I wouldn't mind. Because I know, so I'm speaking the mind of some persons here. Thank you.
Yeah, just to add to that, there was a 10-minute video that I dropped in the group about staking. I think you should look at that as well.
Exactly. That's basically.
Okay, please, can you resend? Please, can you resend? I didn't get to see it. Thank you. Please, thank you.
That's basically all you need. That's a very important video. Everything you need about staking, especially providing liquidity, because that's where the confusion comes. Staking is not really much of a problem. Staking is different. That's providing liquidity where you have to combine 2 pairs and make sure they're of equal dollar value and all that. Staking is usually easy. You could stake on Binance. You could stake on any other platform that allows staking, just like we're staking on Cardia Chain Wallet, we're staking on Maya for Ego. Those ones are very straightforward, where you just have to find a validator on any of those wallets. Find a validator, even if it's on Trust Wallet for like BNB and the likes, you can find a validator, stake your BNB. That one is very straightforward. But then the one that looks a bit complex is the one Colo shared video on. He's going to reshare that. Even if it doesn't, I will too. I think I started somewhere. That's very straightforward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Please, I have a question, Miracle.
Right?
Okay. Please, you're talking about buying the dip earlier. I want to ask, where do you people see this money? These people see this money to buy the dip. Please. What they staking? I see people staking 1,000 Kai, 10,000 Z. Please, where do you people see money to buy all this coin?
Ask Colo where you see money to stake.
Later, he start running around the streets as if he's going to Aso Rock.
Okay, guys, I really appreciate this.
I have a gun.
Okay, any other question? I think we should round up. Any other question that we should tackle?
Please, anyway, let us know.
Sorry, I have question, please. Yeah, Miracle. Yeah, I need you and the other wheels to help us. Please, you people should start pumping this BTC.
I'm not a wheel,
sir. My village people have refused that I'm coming back. They said,
we have a lot of wheels in the community that I will channel that to.
My who is calling me on phone, he's asking me questions.
Talk to Elon Musk. The problem with this is that, when people say invest what you can afford to lose, invest what you can afford, the truth is that nobody has anything they can afford to lose, and there's nobody who comes into crypto who does not want to go all in,
Yes, you are
right?
now being realistic.
because
Yes.
because no, this is just the truth. It's just that invest what you can afford to lose is just a way of placing caution on reality. All right, everybody comes in here, you bring in all because you see that your all is not even enough. I mean, even if you bring 10 million, 50 million into this market, it will swallow it up if you're doing the wrong thing, because there's so much coins to invest in. It's just you now who will bring that discipline, who creates a discipline and say, okay, this is my portfolio. The rest is going to trading, maybe on futures, or holding a few coins, a few solid coins. No matter how much you bring into this market, it is swallowing it up. There is no money we can afford to lose. That is why you just go hard or go home, because you still put the money if you can afford to lose. I don't know. I mean, what are you intending to get out of this market, this volatile market? Then you put in $10 and a coin does 10x.
Mirror.
Right?
I have one question about this many coins. Yeah. It's in line because I gave thought to that analysis about a lot of coins that were around from the early days of Bitcoin, and then after 2017, 2018, just fizzled out. Yeah.
Yep.
And I get the point about them losing out on liquidity, and then the project ended. I mean, Vetha, for example, the developers abandoned it, and I am guessing it was because there wasn't liquidity for them to continue working on Vetha. That was why it was abandoned. So my question would now be, with the crypto space being overcrowded with nearly 10,000 coins, what are those metrics that one should look out for when you are researching on projects you want to put money on? Because again, you're looking at potentials that you put money on to make 2x, 3x, 10x on. Yeah. But how do you know that, okay, dude, if you make 2x of this, take your money and leave, because these guys may not rock pool, but they might fizzle out. Right. So how do you know? Because imagine a project like Nano. Bottoming out since 2018 and like being flat, only to start rising in early 2021. So how do you know? Because imagine if I had say 10,000 tokens on Nano since 2018. It's so much money that is stuck in there. You can't sell it off for pittance, because I mean you put in money and you want to make profit off it. So what are those things that one should be looking out for? Is it total volume locked? Is it market capitalization? Is it trade volume? Is it circulation supply? What should one be looking out for, so that you can then put your ear out for fundamental analysis and know which projects are becoming silent, which ones are the ones that the admin are leaving the WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups or Discord groups and leaving the community members hanging. What should one be looking out for? Thank you.
You actually already pointed out a lot of key metrics for market cap and the likes. But the truth is this, let me be honest, there is no way to tell a project that will not rock pool, but will fizzle out. Like you said, there are so many projects in crypto, over 10,000 eventually. Maybe in the next bull run, we'll be having like 15,000 or thereabout. Because there's no cap on projects that are being created. We'll still see a lot of new ones. But there is no telling which will fizzle out. Just like you wouldn't have told, nobody would have told you that Dodge market cap will get to this level. I mean, if I had used every sense of fundamentals or whatsoever, developer engagement or activity to rate Dodge, I wouldn't invest in it, and that is why I did not invest in Veg. Or you could look at projects like Ethereum or all of those. It doesn't matter how much. What you have to focus on is, are these guys building what they say they will build? What is their roadmap like? Are they still meeting up with their roadmap? Initially, what was the first thing that made you look at this project and say, okay, I want to put my money on this project, right? You look at these things. If the fundamental, if the narrative is still congruent with what is trending, because we are looking at fundamentals, not just fundamentals. Something we call fundamentals, things that make the market or a particular crypto pump. If it is not tallying with the current narrative, just like we have DeFi, then we have NFT right now trending. If it is not incongruent with these narratives, you see that they will begin to fizzle out eventually, or until maybe if their time come back again. Because in 2017, we had like exchange tokens doing well. And during the 2018 beer, everything started tanking. We said, okay, maybe. And then we had DeFi come up. We didn't think that exchange tokens will start doing well again this year. We said, okay, maybe that narrative is gone. It will never come back. But look at it this year. Even after having all the DeFis, NFTs, and what's it called? There's so many other narratives and infrastructure, or what's it called again? There's one I'm looking for. There are a couple of narratives I probably remember later. But then we didn't think that something like exchange tokens will come back again to pull back weight. Look at how Binance Coin, KuCoin, Hotbit, all of this, Huobi, so many of these tokens, if you had maintained that narrative and said, okay, maybe let's just assume that it's going to come back, we would have made a lot of money investing just little sum in all of these, because at least they've done 10x, a lot of them. So now that's why I'm saying that you cannot know exactly what's going to be the narrative in the next bull season, after the next bear run, because a lot of these things are going to collapse, and maybe you will not hear NFT or DeFi, or maybe any of these new narratives that will come. We might see another new narrative, but even though I believe that DeFi is going to be here, because it doesn't just look like an overbloated narrative, it's actually what the world needs, that kind of decentralized finance. But then again, we might see the energy going down on DeFi. That is where at the bottom of the market, you can say, okay, fine, this did well in the bull market. It's probably going to do well again in the next bull market. So let's just put our money here and see what happens, right? Because you cannot tell, to be honest. Look at Nano, look at Dash, look at so many of these tokens that did so well in the last bull run, like you mentioned. You are not sure what's going to be in the top 10 or top 100 page of CoinMarketCap. So eventually there's no telling. You just have to stick to their roadmap, what made you buy, the narrative, the current prevailing narrative, and follow the projects. That is why we say you should invest in very few tokens where you have your long-term bags. Make it consolidated, make it squeezed so that you can follow this. If you have 20 long-term hodls that are not, maybe some can be mid-term flips, and that's okay. You're just looking at technical analysis. But then even at that, you're still paying attention to the roadmap and what these guys are doing. Because you don't know when there's a token unlock. Look at this bear season that is coming. You know that these new projects that were created this year and last year, some of them have a token lock of 2 years, after 2 years interval, after 1 year interval. There will be private sell unlock for those private sell investors. These things are going to contribute to tanking the prices in the bear market. So if you don't pay attention to the fundamentals by going to their Telegram groups, paying attention, asking questions, when is the next unlock? When is this happening? So you know when to sell. Because if you don't, they will sell on you. The private seed will go to the other and dump on you. So these are the things we want to try to avoid in the bear market. But it doesn't mean that after all these dumps that we will not see the price coming back in the next bull season. All you just have to know is, okay, we are basically gambling here. We are basically putting our money where we think the next unicorn is going to come out from. All right? Look at Binance now becoming a unicorn. We wouldn't have assumed that Binance will turn this good. So we're just going to do it based on that luck, right? This is just how we're going to play it out. There's no telling exactly what's going to happen. Yep, that's it.
One more question from my end. Apologies, guys, if this is elongating the meeting, but it's about NFTs. Miracle. I want to make money from NFTs. Now, I have minted a few NFTs on some Binance supported NFT marketplaces. Yes, I haven't gotten any sold yet, but I guess it's something that might happen sometime in the future. However, I want to properly understand that space. I want to also understand if there are tips about what to look out for when you're minting NFTs, so that whatever market value you are attaching to it is something can go off the shelf. I mean, I go and I check on people who are making sales as far as NFTs are concerned. I look at some of the things that they're putting up, and they aren't any better than some of the stuff that I have up there. But they are making sales and I am not. What am I doing wrong? I would like to know.
honestly, about NFTs, I'm not really deep into NFTs, even though I get the understanding of it, or maybe I'm just not deep into it because, well, I would say I'm not an artist, and I really love, personally, I really love to give the best value when it comes to my artworks out there. Even though I see people selling crap, but of course, when people are selling crap, I like to think it's just them being lucky. All right, I just like to think it's them being lucky. If you see the people who are making the biggest sales on NFT, these are people who are real time artists or they are influencers in some way in their industry, in the art industry. So they bring that their community, and then when people who have this money see them and look through their profile, they say, okay, God, this person is really a big artist, and I would love to own a piece of his work. This is when they start pricing your work really big. Then some other people just get lucky, and one person will just buy off. Someone who has money just look at one crap you did and buy it off. But then I like to think that if you are a real art person, whether it's in music or what kind of artwork, drawings, or anything, but if you're really good with creating your original artworks, there is definitely someone who is going to see what you put out there on market and put a price on it. It's just about consistency. You're just like someone who is building an industry, building a company, and gets build a community, get to build a community around it. So a lot of this, if you go to the Twitter handles of some of these big sellers on marketplaces, OpenSea, the likes of all these marketplaces, you see that they have big followers. That's one thing you did not pay attention to initially when comparing your volume to what they are doing. Because everybody can print NFTs or can mint NFTs, does not necessarily mean that everybody will be able to make so much money off NFTs. So I'd like to leave NFTs to people who are really looking to mint something, any of their digital work or anything you think that is mintable. Because I literally think that anything is mintable. We'll get to that level where people are even, I don't know, maybe putting their lands, physical lands, and digitizing them and these things. It's going to get to that level. I mean, it's crazy. So, but about NFTs, I really think that it's not something to get so concerned about if you're not making a sale. Because I think people respond to value. People respond when it comes to money, especially. People respond to what they think they like. Even though I know someone bought something for how many $1 million again? That one that made the news, that particular, I think he's an Indian guy. So, but of course, that stuff he bought was very unique anyway. So he was just trying to show off. He had the money, so that was it. One-offs. These one-offs will always come. But then, if you are fully into the art industry, you see that maybe those people who are making consistent money off NFTs are not into trading like you are. So they are constantly on those marketplaces. They're in probably like 5 marketplaces, pushing their stuff, pushing their content. People are seeing them on top pages every single time. People checking them out. So this is how it works, really, for me. That's what I think.
Maybe I need to put in more effort.
Yeah, probably. I think I need to too as well. I mean, I think we all need to look into NFTs and try to make some money off that too. Hopefully. Okay. Right, no more questions. I guess we should call it a day. We've had a very long one. So thank you guys once again. We appreciate. I hope we don't. Nobody gets a high BP. You have BP sellers in everyone. So let's just keep looking out for the market. Nothing spoiled, all right? Cheer up, one.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So this is safe. Did anybody record this